girl, Miss Champagne B, and you're back with another episode of Diary of a Mad Black Bartender, where I am mad, not as in angry, but mad as in crazy. Crazy about these cocktails. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that every time I release a new video, you are notified of it ASAP. So today what we're doing is we're making homemade bitters using my ISI whipper. Now, a lot of you might be used to making bitters the long, old-fashioned way. And how that's normally done is usually you'll get a jar, you'll get some type of clear liquor. It could be vodka or gin or, preferably Everclear. You add your ingredients into the liquid and you let it sit for like a week or two. Well, this process really came about from the food scientist Dave Arnold in his book Liquid Intelligence. If you don't have it, I do recommend that you get it ASAP. His idea is that you can use an ISI whipper pushing that liquid into your use the flavor of those ingredients into the liquid in a quicker moment, and allows you to get that flavor directly out of that product so that you can use it for your cocktailing needs. As you see right here, I am going through the process, so it's there for you to look, but I'm going to talk about what I'm doing and how you could do it too if you're interested. I'm taking my ingredients and I'm putting in my ISI whipper, but how can you do that? What can you do to start your process of creating bitters at home? So why would you use an ISI whipper to create bitters? Well, the thought process is the whippers allow you to pressurize liquids with gas. How do you do this? Well, you have to buy cartridges. And there's two types. There's carbon dioxide cartridges, which is CO2, or there's the nitrous oxide cartridges, which is N2O. You don't want the CO2 cartridges for this process because it makes it carbonated, which gives you more of a bubbly taste. Think like soda water. You want the N2O I'm so sorry, I can't say this word, nitrous oxide cartridges, which is known as laughing gas. This gives bubbles that are put inside of the container, but they're more of sweet and not really as crisp as you would from the carbonated cartridges that you would use. The importance of the infusions is that it extracts the flavor of a solid into a liquid, or it compresses a liquid into a solid. In this case, we want to extract the flavor of the liquid into the solid. So how does the rapid nitrous infusion works? The nitrous dissolves into the liquid, forcing the liquid into the solid product in the container, extracting the flavors from the solid. Once you release the pressure from the canister, the nitrous pushes the newly infused liquid out to the solid. There's pros and cons to both process. Some of you guys may say, why would I want to use the ISI whipper versus using the original process of letting it stay for a week? The pros of rapid infusions is that it infuses liquids quicker than the traditional infusion process. So what would normally take a week or two can now take up to an hour. The cons, however, is that the flavors such as spice and bitterness and tannics aren't as bold as they would be with the longer term process. So if you want something that's a bit more bolder, a bit more spicy like jalapenos, you want to get the heat from the jalapeno, doing it the long process may be more beneficial for you. However, if you're not too concerned about it being, too spicy, but you just really more want the jalapeno flavor to it, then you may want to do the rapid infusion process. Now, everything cannot be used for the infusion. Mainly, we're talking about your ingredients that you're going to infuse the flavors with. To be a candidate for infusion, the solid item must be porous, aka it has to have holes in it. So you can't really infuse a rock. I'm just throwing it out there, you can't do it. Most plants would qualify for this process. To get better infusion, you may need to prep your ingredients more by shredding, cutting or grinding the products. So for instance, if you have maybe some type of seeds, coriander seeds, or maybe pepper seeds, you may want to grind those a bit. The better you grind, the more you'll be able to extract those flavors out of those items. Make sure to infuse your products at room temperature. If it's too cold, you won't draw out enough of the flavor. If it's too hot, it may extract too much flavor, bringing along some of the bitter notes that you may want to avoid. Unless you're creating bitters, then you may be okay with that. The higher the pressure, the faster and more balanced the fusion will be. So what does that mean? As you see right here, I'm shaking it. So I've charged it twice with chargers, and now I'm shaking it to add more pressure to the ingredients inside. I want to make sure that I get as much flavor out of my ingredients and that it's more balanced so that all the ingredients that I put in there works. I put in there rosemary, I put in there lemon, I put in there ground pepper, and I believe I put in there some coriander seeds as well with the ground pepper. It's just all ground together. And I put these things in there so we can have a delicious type of bitters that you can use for maybe like a tropical thing, or whatever you want to do with it. Here's some things to note when you're trying to be safe. Do not, I repeat, do not open up the top without releasing the valve. That's what I'm doing right now. You want to release the valve, which allows the pressure that's from the inside to come out. I double charged this with 2 cartridges for more pressure, but I'm letting it out by holding onto the handle so that it seeps out. But as it seeps out, the bubbles on the inside that comes from the nitrous oxide is helping those flavors infuse even more. So you definitely want to do this. I let this sit for about an hour so I can get much more flavor out of it as I am making bitters. And after I let all of the nitrous oxide out, I let it sit for 10 minutes so I can make sure the bubbles run out and I can get as much infusion as possible. When you're using your ISI whipper, please make sure that you don't let the nitrous oxide touch your hand. It is very, very cold. It is not comfortable. I'm sure that if you let it stay there even longer, it might cause you some type of damage to your skin. So I want you to be very, very careful. If you do not have the cap that goes over the cartridge, they're easily available on Amazon.com and you can purchase them. They're less than $10. You can bring it to your house, but please do not do it by hand. And like I said, also, please do not open your lid without letting out that gas. It could cause some type of injury. And I like when you guys come and visit my videos and leave me comments and share and subscribe. So I just don't want anything to happen to you guys. When you're letting the pressure out or you're letting the air out in the long tube that you see right there, that long red tube, that's where the air is going to come out, or the nitrous oxide is going to come out, that part right there. When you're letting it out, you may feel some wetness coming out from the liquid that's inside of the container. It's okay. To protect yourself from that, you may want to let the air out when you're over a sink, or you might want to put a little cup over the opening of the hole so that when it comes out, it's not leaking all over the place. So those are like just a few things you want to know when you're doing this. Now the liquids you want to use on the inside, people would prefer to use Everclear just because it's a neutral base, but you could also use a neutral vodka, an unflavored vodka, and you could also infuse different types of liquor using your ISI whipper. I've seen someone do gin in the book Liquid Intelligence. He talks about using turmeric with the gin. As soon as I'm done infusing it, and after I let it sit for a little bit, I double strained it. So this is so I can get as much of the particles out of it. These bitters have the tendency to last for a very, very, very long time. And it lasts even longer if you get most of the settlement out of the container. So that's the little bit of rosemary. And as you see, the color, when we first poured it earlier, it was completely clear. And now that color has taken on the color of the liquid has taken on the color of the items that we have infused in there for a nice brown color. Very pretty. Definitely try to extract strain as much as possible, because like I said, when you have more sediment in there, which is coming from vegetables naturally will, they won't keep forever, they will go bad, and that could alter the taste of your bitter. So make sure you try to strain that as much as possible. And as you see, it has a really cool color, and it almost looks like the bitters that you buy from the store. People use their own recipes to make bitters repeatedly because they're looking for different flavors, and also it's really cool to experiment with different types of flavors. Remember, when you are making your bitters, make sure you're choosing some good quality ingredients so that you can get some very good flavors out of it. The better quality your ingredients, the better flavor your bitters will be. And some people have a dash bottle that you can use, dashers, which look really fancy and cool, and I'll be getting one of those one day. You can get those off of Amazon.com, or I actually had a bitter bottle that I had left over from using bitters for another event. I sterilized the bitter bottle, I cleaned it out, and I decided to use it to store my new bitters. And this bitter bottle I like because it's more of an eyedropper. So some people like the dash. It really doesn't matter to me. It's whatever's clever Trevor, and I'll do whatever is beneficial to me. And I like those bitter bottles. They're really sexy, so I chose to reuse mine. Now your ISI whipper is not just for bitters, which are usually a variety of flavors inside of that one liquid. You can use it for tinctures, which is usually just one ingredient focused. You could also use it to make foams, which we will be using our ISI whipper down the line to make a really good foam. I love foams, and this foam we're going to make, it's a bit better than the foam that you will get from using egg whites alone, because our foam is going to stay a little bit longer, and it's going to be super duper cool. So as you see here, I finished with my bitters. Nails looking on fleek. Thank you to my nail tech, Trina. And as we go and pull it out, you can see that it works just like a normal bitter. It's very pretty in color. My dropper is the bomb. And when I tasted it, which I did, it tasted really, really good. I can't wait to use my bitters to make maybe a spiced old fashioned, because it does have spiced notes. So thank you guys for watching my show today. Please make sure you subscribe and leave a comment. Thanks. Bye-bye. Thank you.